Hello and welcome back to Group Chat with the Ambassadors of Gaming. I am one of your army of hosts, Ambassador Chris,
And I'm Ambassador Jason.
And I am Ambassador Kevin.
also known as Blaxus. If just in case you didn't know, that's his code name. And we have stuff to discuss today. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a great Sunday.
Isn't it only like 11 o'clock?
It's 11:40. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy for any day to be great if like no time has passed. But okay, Kevin,
I've been
how are
up
you doing?
since 7.
Oh, why have you been? Oh, that's right. You're a parent and stuff. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
To be young. Kevin, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. This is actually my second full day actually, being in my new place. So I'm just relaxing.
Oh, well, ain't that lovely? I was up raiding really late last night, and then after this, I have to do more physics homework. So, feeling pretty good. So, if you're unfamiliar on how group chat works, I am going to be doing this in an interview style, asking both Jason and Kevin questions about a given topic. And today's topic is games as a service. And we're not just talking exclusively looter shooters, talking about any game that sticks around for a while and makes a lot of money in its, or attempts to make a lot of money in its post game. So that will be our topic. Obviously, if you are a Patreon viewer, thank you for contributing. You are seeing this video, I believe, about a month early. So there will be a Patreon plug at the very end, but obviously, since you're here, I didn't really want to do it in the beginning. So let's get this show on the road. Jason.
What's up?
I just wanted to hear your voice. But no, I'm going to start off with you. For games as a service, how do you feel about certain games' diversity in gameplay? Like the different ways that you can play a certain games as a service game?
I like that idea. It keeps your audience in your game, so it keeps your game population up, and it gives the people that enjoy the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the atmosphere of the game and the environment. Like, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. It's not IP, but I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. It's a great idea though. World of Warcraft, in particular, there's many different things you can do in World of Warcraft. Anywhere from just leveling up and reaching the level cap and then going back and doing with different characters to PvP, doing battlegrounds, doing arenas, dungeon runs, dungeon challenges, pet battles where you capture little pets and it's like a Pokemon battle. Transmog where you just hunt down for different costumes. There's a lot of stuff you can do in World of Warcraft. A lot of these other games as a service, like League of Legends, they have their regular main game, and then there's like little arcade versions. I know in League they have like all random, all mid, which would be like a random everyone gets a random hero in this one lane they go down. They now have that new auto chess mode in that game, as well as several other games. Hearthstone just came out with an auto chess mode as well. So it definitely brings life into your game and keeps your player base in the game that you want them to be in. I don't think it's a bad idea.
Some games don't do this very well, though. There are, or I guess I shouldn't say it doesn't do it very well, as more so there's not as much diversity as you would like in this way that it's kind of still the same game, but maybe just changing a topic. Like I know that both The Division and Destiny had that issue where there wasn't enough different gameplay for some people to stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin, please.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like in Destiny, PvE was they have like a DLC of a story mode, and then it leads to like maybe like a raid and new bounties, and PvP would just have new maps, but that'll just be it, and it'd be like the same formula.
Yeah.
When it comes to Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny does have some different things. I still don't think it's as diverse as it could be, but it does have different game modes. It has Gambit, which I'm pretty sure is worn down and no one really uses anymore. But the raids they come out with are fun, and PvP, supposedly they have a renewed focus. That's good because that got pretty stale. Okay. This is an important one. Kevin,
Yes.
are there any loop systems that stand out to you in these games? Because in theory, that's what makes these games thrive. Is they have a gotcha loop where you kind of play to keep playing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. Well, like for like Destiny, the loop system would be like try to get the best gun and get like the best roll of that gun. So, and most of the rare guns is like through RNG. So you have to like say that the new expansion that releases gun that everybody really wants. You have to spend like a lot of time to even try to get that gun. Some people get it early, which is rare, but I remember like say that Destiny 1. I'm not gonna say Gallahorn was actually a DLC or anything like that, but it took a while to get Gallahorn. And there's like only a few chances you can get it through like the Bolted Glass raid, the what's called I think the Nightfall, and like in the Clover raid. And you only do those raids like one time per week. So like every week you'll keep trying to at least try to get the Gallahorn. And if you don't do it, you have to try again next week and next week. Just like in Final Fantasy 14, if you have a character that has like a special weapon that you try to get, yeah, you can do like a certain type of they call it raids as well, but it's actually a different name.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that raid or you get that roll through that raid, you gotta try again next week.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, it keeps people keep playing and keep playing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess that goes into staleness though, if people keep doing the same thing over and over again. Jason, do you have any experience with good or bad loop systems?
Got Gallahorn the first time it came out in Destiny 1 and thought it was poop and sold it. I mean, I sold it.
Dismantled, yeah.
it. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I didn't get another Gallahorn until like almost like 4 or 5 months later. It was terrible.
Gallahorn.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, I think in Destiny 1, I think like the first thing like Zero 7 was the Gallahorn.
Yep.
And nobody actually knew like how great it was.
Oh yeah. I still have not forgotten about that.
Anything from World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14?
What was the question again, Chris? I'm sorry.
You're good. You get so excited talking about Gallahorn. I was talking about good or bad loop, like loop systems, not
loop systems.
Loop. Loop. LOOP.
Oh, loop. Yep. I apologize. Nothing I can think of.
Like Anthem, but not horrible.
How are we talking about? Like, what are we referring to as loop?
Like basically as like something that keeps a player keep playing the game constantly.
Oh, like the carrot on the stick. Carrot on the stick? Okay.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, they had a great carrot on the stick. It was the end games. The end game raids. You want to do them, you had to just keep pushing forward. And they had better gear and so forth, but that was about it. It got kind of stale. I mean, I played for like 15 years, so it got really stale, just leveling up, getting the best gear in dungeons, then doing raids, getting the best gear, and then doing more raids, doing more raids, and then having to go to the expansion, level up all over again, and everything you worked so hard for was pretty much pointless. That got really repetitive in those 15 years. Final Fantasy 14, they did it well. They did a good job. I enjoyed playing that game. But no, I mean, like, the carrot on the stick thing, it's
the only thing that keeps these games going.
It's what keeps them going. New content. It's just, you got to have constantly having new content patches, expansions.
That's in the next topic.
Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what it is. It's trying to get to the next level, trying to keep the players engaged to continue spending money or time in your game. I haven't really had any bad experiences.
Anthem.
Well, I didn't play Anthem because it looked like a hot mess. Yeah, I mean, I guess the worst experience I had was Destiny 2. They just took too long to do things correctly.
I love Destiny 2 now. I totally understand where you're coming from.
Now it's good. But like when it first came out, I literally spent all my time on there because I was off work anyway because of the hurricane that happened. So I spent every waking moment in Destiny 2, and I was loving it. And then I just slowly stopped loving it.
Year 1 Destiny 2 was pretty garbage. The first expansion was mega garbage. Warmind was the bare minimum. Which
was that raid? Was it even hard?
They were raid layers. I did like the initial raid that it launched with. I liked the Leviathan.
I hated that raid because it wasn't, and it could be just what I'm used to. Like, I'm used to raids where if you're properly geared and you do the mechanics, you're gonna win. And that raid, it was just about mechanics. Like you just weren't doing the mechanics correctly, which is important, yes, but the mechanics get easier when you get more gear. If you make a mistake, you're not as punished as much as you would if you were under geared. And I felt like no matter what gear you had, you didn't do the mechanics correctly, you're being punished in almost every single fight.
It was a very mechanic-heavy raid. I didn't like the raid layers, and that was what peeved me. People were upset with the lack of content in both of those first 2 expansions. And I think part of that is on Activision. That might be one of the reasons they split. Activision wanted them to keep doing $60 game, charge for this, charge for that, and charge us for this really tiny, or the expansions they gave us with the game were really tiny. But I liked Leviathan, so your assessment is false, sir.
That's your opinion. To be honest, I didn't even wait until like the Leviathan came out. Like by the time I finished like Destiny 2, like the main story and playing like PvP, I was basically done with that game. I just couldn't.
I understand that it's that some people don't care for it, and I understand that some people feel burned by it. One of those classic situations of they buy a game, they spend the money on it, and they spend the money on the expansions, and it turns out to be really not good. But when they actually do make a good expansion, you don't feel like you want to come back. You're like, I've already given you all this money for crap. Why do I all of a sudden now? Why should I give you money for something that's that I was expecting initially? So
well. For me, it was just the fact that, Destiny 1, I put over 2,000 hours in that game, and I'm just burnt.
2,000 hours?
Yes.
2,000 hours. How many days, how many weeks is 2,000 hours? I need to know this.
I don't know, but that's how many hours I have in Counter-Strike.
Back then, I used to work part-time, so I had all the free time to play Destiny.
I'm searching what 2,000 hours is. Hang on.
I don't want to know what my hours
that's
is.
No, that's not a lot.
Okay, let's see.
Probably like 4 months. Okay.
Hours.
24 hours in a day.
2 days.
All right. 3 days.
It's like like 83.
That's almost 3 months.
Yeah, 83.333.
That is holy hell.
Yeah.
I don't even think I've put that much time into a game. Jeez Louise. How long has it been since Counter-Strike released?
I will say that Summer's always probably like at least 100 was for me, like doing the Vault of Glass trick, where like I'll be at the exotic chest and I'll wait until like the reset happens. So I'll probably go to sleep or whatever and like still have my game moving, my character moving, so like it doesn't reset. So I have to do the whole raid again. Like when the reset happens, I could just reload the save and go straight to the exotic chest and try to get the Gjallarhorn.
Oh, that was smart.
Yeah, it's a chest that happened. I think it was before the Harpies, and when that kills you on the Maggie when you get detected.
Yeah,
or is it after? I kind of forgot. It's been some time.
We are starting to branch off, so I am going to direct us to the next topic, and this goes over to Jason. Let's talk about grind, both the difficulty and the worth. And this is really important, more specifically for looter shooters, because I feel like for looter shooters itself, it doesn't really apply for Overwatch or something like that, something like a game that isn't a looter shooter. But I feel like this is a really prevalent and important topic.
There's grind in almost any game as a service. I mean, you have the grind in World of Warcraft where you're just grinding dungeons or in raids for loot that you need, that you're looking for. Or you're just grinding levels out. You got the grind in, let's say, Destiny, the raid grind, same thing, doing the raids, grinding out loot. You want to get once every week. You're grinding out in Hearthstone rank. If you want to get to legend rank, you got to play a lot of games. That can be a long time. That's a long grind. You have your grind in, I guess you could equate grinding to almost any competitive game that has a competitive mode.
That is true. Yeah, not like especially a lot of multiplayer games having like these season type stuff. Where,
Yeah, like
yeah,
Fortnite, you're grinding out the season
mhm.
pass. In Overwatch, you could be either grinding out the they have the it's like a, what's it called? It's not an emblem. It's let's just say it's an emblem, and it gets bigger as more time you put into the game, and eventually you go from bronze, silver, gold to like diamond. It looks really nice and everything, and it shows how much hours you put into the game. Some people grind for that. Other people are grinding for rank. Um, the grind could be fun and could be terrible. I know, like, I love playing Hearthstone, but I hate grinding to try to get legend every month, and then at the end of the month, I get reset back to a certain level. Um, in World of Warcraft, with my grinding in that game, it was literally just grinding levels, and then once you reach the level grind, you reach level cap. Now you're grinding gear, and you're grinding out the dungeons to get the best gear. And once you have all that, then you're grinding raids out, and that's the same thing with Destiny 1 and 2 and the Division. You always start off first grinding out the level, and once you reach the level cap, you're looking for the next level of grind you have to do. Has it been fair?
Has it been worth it? As I think.
Well, yeah, worth it, I should say. I found that it's not worth it in World of Warcraft, which is why I don't play anymore. I love the lore of that game. I love the game. I played 15 years, but I don't have the time for it. It's not worth it for me anymore. My gaming time is limited now, and I'm more towards the competitive side of gaming, as opposed to the player versus environment side, PvE.
I'm garbage at PvP.
I'm not greatest either, but I've gotten better. I've been grinding to get better, and I have gotten better. I mean, I put a lot of time into Counter-Strike, CS:GO, and I remember when I first started playing that game, I was terrible. And then at one point, when I was, I grinded the game so much, I was actually pretty good. I'm not good anymore because I stopped playing, but I made my little achievement of actually being decent in that game.
So it's crazy when we mentioned worth it. Like, you know what, Destiny 1, where like people was getting mad that like every year there's like a new DLC you have to pay for, all that stuff. Like it'd be like a $20 DLC, and then became like a $40 yearly DLC.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, it's not worth it. But then I was like, I just pay Final Fantasy 14. I have to pay a $15 subscription every month just to play the game.
Yeah, but they add
I actually could.
with that $15 subscription, like with WoW when I played it, it adds content patches. So yes, you're not going to get an expansion all the time, but throughout that year that you're playing, you're getting content patches. I wouldn't say for free, but you already paid for it since you're paying for the service monthly, and those content patches could be pretty large.
But when you really think about it, it's $15 a month times 12. That's $180 a year for one game. And that's not including the expansion that you have to pay for every 2 years if you want to keep,
But
be updated.
In between those 2 years expansions, there are content patches that are pretty large. Like I know with World of Warcraft and even with Final Fantasy, they added whole raids because not all the raids are released, all at once. So they're adding raids, they're adding new zones, new little quests and stuff, world bosses in between these large expansions. And that money is really going towards the continued development of that game. I mean, if they didn't have that money, they're not able to pay the developers to continue development to make, like, if World of Warcraft was, didn't have a subscription, it wouldn't be 15 years old. It would be very difficult to be 15 years old and have the amount of content it has.
All right. We are branching off into the next topic, and I don't want to go there yet. So,
okay.
Is there ever a time though, because I know that I felt like this, where you've done the grind for something and then you got what you were grinding for, and it's just not worth it at all for how much grind you had to put in?
Well, for me, that never been that never been a problem. Like,
Really?
if I'm grinding for something, I already know that it's really, really good or it's worth it. Like you there's like reviews, everybody talking about how amazing this weapon is or this gear is. Like, so if I'm grinding for something, I already know what I'm grinding for. like the Gallahorn. I grind for that Gallahorn, and all three of my characters have the Gallahorn at one point. It also put my name on Facebook was Kevin RP Gallahorn. No, it was Kevin Gallahorn Luminaire, then Kevin RP Gallahorn when they didn't bring it to I think the Oryx expansion. So
Taken
but
King.
yeah, Taken King. Sorry, I'm sorry, it's been a while. Well,
No, it's
Oryx, but yeah, but like like the Gallahorn was amazing. I grind now, I'll grab that gun. With Final Fantasy 14, all the gears I needed to get those gears. Like if you don't have the gear, you can't do a lot of the raids or the primals at the end. So or you're not even allowed to even enter those type of things because your gear level is too low. So
I mean, yeah, I guess I get that, but maybe it's just because I've played a lot of Destiny. And even in the Division, there were times where they make you, really work to get something. And by the time you get it, it's just not that great. And you wonder why you were even grinding for it in the first place.
I just hate when it's like it was like a gear that you really, really try to get, and when you finally got it, it got nerfed.
Yep.
Yes. Amen to that. That happened. I mean, I was lucky. I grinded for a certain weapon in Destiny 2, and even though they technically nerfed it, it's still amazing. So everyone still uses it.
Actually, speaking of Destiny 2, the Rat King. Oh my god, I grinded.
Oh, there you go.
But it was a grind. It was a quest grind you had to do, and I got it, and I was like, all right, this is a final form, and it was poop.
Yeah, it was really poop.
It was garbage. Even if your whole squad has the Rat King, it's still garbage.
They made it full auto. I think when they did their exotic cast update, so now it's a full auto pistol.
That was disappointing,
garbage.
man.
It's still garbage. Yeah, for the that's just a good example. All right, so since we all want to talk about this topic, Kevin, how about expansions? Cost and the amount of content you get per expansion for multiple games.
I agree. So Destiny, I felt like it was at first I thought it was bad. You paying $4 every I guess half a year to a year. At first I thought like this is too much. I'm busy paying for a full game again. But compared to other MMOs where you have a monthly subscription, I started actually thinking, okay, this $40 expansion is not that bad. I used to kind of hate the fact that I had to pay $40 and the newcomers could play all the period DLCs and base game only pay $60. That was
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's crappy and we all get upset by it, but the reality of the situation is if we were developing a game, we would do the exact same thing because no one is going to join in to a game that has been out for a little bit. No one's going to join in, even if it has new expansion. Like say right now, they're on their second big expansion. No one would join in and play at all if they had to pay for everything that came before, because that's upwards of $200.
Yeah.
No one would pay that. So I feel like in order to bring new people into your game, you kind of have to offer that. It's crappy, but
if you think about it though, they're not going to spend as much time in those expansions as you did when you paid for it, because they're trying to get to the newest stuff.
Yeah, to play with their friends and stuff.
Actually, because the gear in the old expansion is going to be worthless anyway.
Yeah. And they're not going to do if they even make it to those raids, they're going to be doing them with friends that they meet up in that game. Like in World of Warcraft, we would always in my guild, there would be new players that just got in the game and oh, have you done ICC, in Wrath of Lich King? Is oh no, I just started playing in this other expansion. So we'll go and raid ICC very easily because we're way geared above it. But just so they can experience what we went through kinda in a very easy mode way. So they're not really getting, if they were to buy those expansions, it's more of a ripoff to them because they're never really going to do anything in those games. So I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially when the game as large as World of Warcraft that has so many expansions. If they were to sell each one independently, it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, it wouldn't be worth it. And I guess I didn't think about that. They're really not spending as much time in those older expansions. So I
just hate when there's a game that has a seasonal expansion where it's a limited time and you missed that time because of, I don't know, work or you just probably wasn't even into the game at the time, and now you're into this game and it's oh, The say that Final Fantasy 14 had like I think it had like a Final Fantasy 13 event with Lightning, and now like I miss all that, and that's I can never play those type of game modes or raids or gear anymore because I missed the time.
There's an argument to be made for that. Some people like that. Some people like
Yeah.
time exclusive stuff so that when they have it and other people don't, you're like, hey, I was here for this event or
Yeah.
I did this event. Some people like that.
It's I agree and I disagree at the same time because like I feel like I missed out, but at the same time, if I was that person, I'm gonna be happy. I'm like, yeah, I got this item that you can no longer get. I experienced this event you can no longer experience. It's kind of like a badge of honor.
Yeah, but that makes me think of how Destiny did that poorly. After the event was like, they would just add some of those items to the regular pool.
Yeah, that they shouldn't do. Like, I
And I'm
don't
like,
agree with
what's
that.
the point of even doing this event? I lived that event. I lived that. I went in the freaking revelry for Destiny 2. The only reason to do it was to get an exotic weapon called the Arbalest, which I guess is okay. It's not awful, but I don't really use it that much. But I did not want to go back into the Infinite Forest, so I just didn't do the event. The very first exotic drop I got after that event was over was Arbalest.
Nice.
So,
well, not nice, but
case
I
in
guess.
point. Case in point.
Yeah.
So I feel like you also have to balance, it's really important to balance the cost with the amount of content you get to, because that will kill your game as well. You can't charge someone for minimal content, or more specifically, what we're seeing nowadays is charge someone and then try to charge them again a lot, which is what we're seeing with Fallout 76 right now.
Oh my gosh.
Best example.
Every week. It's
Yeah.
the MVP topic.
Yeah, it's as if they seriously, it's like they're have you guys heard my poop pendulum reference?
No.
Okay, well, it's a good reference. I gotta go through it sometime, but it's literally as if they're trying to stand underneath the poop pendulum every chance they get so that they can get covered in poop.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that whole idea was just horrible.
Yeah. This also, if you want to really debate it, it also goes back to paying $60 for a full game and then getting into the game and finding that everything is monetized. Why did I pay? This is something I'd expect from a free-to-play game.
Yeah.
Not a $60 AAA product.
From a major developer, too.
Exactly. So when we see things like that, that really upsets us. And it honestly makes us not really all trustworthy. It makes us not trust developers, because then, as soon as someone says, hey, we're going to have loot boxes, but they're only cosmetic, we all roll our eyes. It's as if like that's still, everyone always says that, or at least that's where the start is. I think for Fallout 76, it's the funniest because there's that tweet where he tweeted, he's like, yeah, we're only going to have cosmetics in there. That was his tweet, only cosmetics. And then like a month after the game came out, they started putting in like refrigerators and like bot scavengers or something to like make your grind easier.
Yep.
And he just and everyone's just like, you said there'd be there would only be cosmetics. He's like, no, I meant there'd be no game breaking stuff. It's like, no, you said only cosmetics.
Stuff.
You said only cosmetics. So
we lied.
Yeah, makes you think of that really old meme. People would use the old meme formats where people would make like the little cartoon pictures, and there's that one.
Oh, the Rage comics.
Yeah, where he goes, "I lied." That's what it makes me think of. I lied. Post a Bethesda head over it, or a Bethesda logo over it. So our very last topic. And I'm really glad that I gave this to Jason because of all of these older games that he has played. How these games age.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Well, me and Billy were talking about this last week at World of Warcraft. They just announced at BlizzCon that World of Warcraft, they are revamping it. So right now the level cap's 120, which is very intimidating, especially for a new player. They're actually cutting the level cap in half. The new level cap's going to be 60. And the whole leveling system is redone. So when you create a new character, Oh, this game's 15, like a little over 15 years
I
old.
could have sworn the level cap was 50. They changed it to.
Yeah, well, yes, 50, 60 when the new expansion comes out next year. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for that. So the new level cap is 50, and when the new expansion comes out, Shadowlands, next year, then it'll be 60. So when you create a new character, you start off on this new island they create where you learn how to play, and you go through like mini dungeons and stuff, so you can learn your role. And then when you hit level 10, you get to choose what expansion you want to play through, which is amazing.
That's actually really
Because
cool.
now you're going they're reusing their older content for players that never went through it. So if you want to level from 10 to 50 in Burning Crusade, you pick that, and you're going to be with a bunch of people that want to level over there, running those dungeons and everything. If you want to go through Wrath of Lich King, Cataclysm, Mist of Pandaria, any of the expansions, Warlords of Draenor, Legion, it's really awesome. And I think that's great, especially for new players, because they can make several characters and go through every single expansion and catch up on the story, or see what it was like back then. So that's a great way of handling how many expansions they have and all that content that a lot of people don't see, all those quest
Yeah,
lines that a lot of people don't do.
That's a really good use of old content. I like that,
Yeah.
especially because you find other people in the same area who are doing the same thing. So that makes the LFG aspect of it for doing group activities much easier as well.
Oh yeah. All those old world bosses that were just roaming around, no one's paying attention to.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any other game I could think of that's doing really well?
Hey, what about that free to play shooting game? I keep it's like do like samurai. I keep forgetting what it's
Talking about
called.
Warframe?
Warframe, yeah. What about that game?
Warframe,
I like
I
Warframe.
I tried it. And it's known for having bugs, like pretty bad bugs. But then again, it's a free to play game, so a free to play game doesn't have a little bit of bugs. But the icon that's supposed to spawn up for a quest does not spawn.
What do you mean?
There's a certain location where I'd have to go to like initiate an event.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that can happen sometimes.
Yeah. I logged on over the course of a week. I logged on 4 different times and it would not load. And I looked up to make sure I was doing it right and that everything is that, and it just would not spawn. So I just stopped playing because I was aggravated.
I played that game when it was like back in beta a long, long time ago, like 2011, I think it was. Maybe even later than that. I'm not sure. And I never really got into it. I tried it again a few years later. Didn't really get into it. But boy, when it came out on the Switch, when that game came out on the Switch, and I saw how it was running, which is amazingly, like it was. I don't know how they did it, but they did an amazing job playing that game on the Switch. I put in so many hours into that game on the Switch. It was ridiculous. I had so much fun playing that game on the Switch, and I have to say that's one of the best free to play games there are. Like it's very fair. I've went into the community forums and stuff. They just treat their customers very well. It's very free to play, not pay to win at all. It's a great business model the way they have it going, and several other people.
It has a lot of content.
There's so much content in that game. I mean, I don't play anymore currently, but I enjoy the time I put into it. I made a lot of amazing, frames and weapons and stuff, all free. Didn't spend a single dime. Had a great time in that game. I just don't have the time to put in any more into that game, but it is definitely a great game to look into.
So how many hours did you play in that game though? Give or take.
Maybe like 50. It was a good amount. It was a
No,
good
'cause I was
amount.
thinking cause like games like this, or like also what's that game called? Game that's by EA, by Respawn, the game that we're playing
Apex?
now. Yeah, that game. Like I see like Apex Legend. I'm like, that game is good, but I have no reason to put money into that game. Like absolutely nothing. Not even the Battle Pass.
Yeah, that's literally just skins. If you like, that's all cosmetics. Like it's a Fortnite plan. They
But
give you the
like,
cosmetics and that's it. Like there's really no pay to win in that. Well, I wouldn't say not really because they do charge for some of the newer heroes, newer legends, I guess they call them. So if you want
like
them, you have to grind or pay for them.
yeah. Well, like I don't know. I'm definitely diverting now, but like see like Fortnite, the skins, it's like 3D. So like I can actually see my character, not 3D, like third, you know, like
Third person.
you know, third person. I'm sorry, I'm very sleepy. At third person, so I actually see my character in the skin, and it looks great. But Epic Legend is first person, so I don't care about skins. I don't care like if I can't see it. What's like should I care? Like I'll
Yep.
never see my skin. Like I don't. So I never put that one penny into that game. But Fortnite, I put a lot of money into that game because you know I like the skins. I like looking at my skins. I like the character, you know, like the dancing, all that stuff. And Warframe, I feel like people keep talking about how like they put no money into that game. That kind of made me wonder how the developer actually survive because I feel like nobody actually put money into the game. They gave it a lot of free stuff.
Yeah, the people that do spend money, like you can look it up. A lot of people that spend money are spending it because they want to support the developer.
Okay.
Because the marketplace in that game is really good, where you can get the premium currency by selling items in the game. So you sell items, you build items, and you sell them in the game, and you end up in exchange you get premium currency that other people paid for. So it's kind of an exchange. Like I don't have the time to grind out and get these items, so I'm gonna go in the auction house and buy someone else's item that they spent the time to make. So I just spent $10 in the game for in-game currency, and then I gave it to this player who took the time to make that item.
So the player actually gets it?
So the player gets the premium currency, not the $10 in American money, but the currency of the game. Let's say it may be platinum. I'm not sure if it's platinum or not. Let's call it platinum. So I buy $10 worth of platinum, which is like 500 platinum. This isn't going to equate at all. I'm just making it up. And I'm like, man, I don't have any time to make this weapon. It's going to take. If I have to make that weapon, I'm going to have to grind out like 10 or 12 hours of gameplay, and hopefully the items drop that I need. It's gonna be a lot of gameplay I need to do to get that. And then not only that, once you get the items and you go to assemble it, there's a build time. So it's gonna take like 3 days to build, 3 real days to build the item. You either wait that out or you pay premium currency to get it immediately. So I don't want to wait. I don't want to grind that out and then additionally wait the time. So I'm gonna spend $10. I'm gonna go in the auction house for one that's already assembled that someone created. I'm gonna buy it, and then in exchange, they're gonna get the 500 platinum that I am spending. So they're gonna get that premium currency, and they can go and do whatever they want with that.
Oh, okay.
So
amazing.
it's kind of like time versus money kind of thing.
I mean, it's nice. It's always nice when we have something like content creators themselves contributing to the aging of a game. I think it we see that in Mario Maker, but that's a little generalized, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
People are making their own things for the game. Just don't let Bethesda know, they'll block you. Sorry, too soon.
Bethesda. Oh my goodness.
Speaking of aging, even though it's not a games as a service game, it makes me think of Skyrim, how they port everything, how they port that thing to everything. I'm pretty sure if you could play it on an LG refrigerator.
They actually made that skip. I think they
they did?
Like 18, yeah, like 2018 or 17, like E3.
Yeah, they made that skit. Who was it with? It was with an actor. I forgot who it was.
I think a guy from Key and Peele. I think it was Key and Peele for some reason. I don't know why he popped up in my head.
It might have been him.
Well, that's great. So I think that is a lot of talk for now. I don't think we should bog this down anymore, especially because we keep wanting to have our own conversations.
And I'm correct too. He actually is the guy from Key and Peele.
It's the guy from King of the Hill.
No, it's a comedian duo, Key and Peele. That's Key.
I thought you were about to say King. The guy from King of the Hill is what I thought you were saying.
No,
I'll tell you what. So, all right. So we try and do this just every once in a while. It's similar to Games Embassy, so we don't want to do it too much. Here is this. Thank you, Patreon supporters. And then if you are not a Patreon supporter and you are seeing this, or you are seeing this about a month later, we have a nice little Patreon page where you can get some cool perks like early access to the show, getting your comments, questions, and concerns read on the show, and exclusive content like this video. If you'd like to support the show and get some goodies like that, you can do so over there at patreon.com/ambassadors of gaming. I have been Ambassador Chris.
I'm Ambassador Jason.
And I am Ambassador Kevin.
He's Blaxus. And
Oh, yeah, I'm Blaxus.
we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
We're gone.
Take care.